1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 8.
Welcome to NHL Quick Hits. I'm David Crosby here with Steele Roden. And last night, Cole Caufield made his NHL debut for the Canadiens. And Tyler Toffoli'S team-leading 25th goal in the second period held up as the game winner, helping Montreal extend their cushion over Calgary in that final playoff spot to 6 points. Steele, let's start with Caufield. What were your first impressions of him, and did you see enough for him to warrant staying in that lineup long term?
Yeah, I thought he had a great NHL debut. And, when you come into your first NHL game, sometimes you don't really expect to be playing on the first line, but Cole Caufield just got tossed right in there with Philip Deneau and Tom Tatar. So what a start for him. But yeah, I thought he had a great game, even from the first shift, well-executed breakout. He streaked down the right side, and we got a good look at Jakob Markstrom, just missed the top corner. But again, I thought he had a great game, 4 shots on goal. And that's what I really love about Caufield. He's not afraid to shoot the puck. And even on the power play, you saw him with a couple of times shooting from the goal line. And like we've seen from him before in the AHL, he's not afraid to shoot the puck. I loved what he was doing last night. And exceptionally getting on the power play time, getting some power play time and getting some feel and some chemistry with those guys in your first game. I thought he did a great job to be in the lineup for the remainder of the regular season. And come playoff time, I think he can be a really vital piece to the Montreal Canadiens, someone who can, potentially sneak up on the opponents, whoever they face, if they do make the playoffs.
Yeah, he may not have had the stats, but he definitely had the chances. Like you said, finishing with those 4 shots. I love his unpredictability. You never know what he's going to do when he gets the puck on his stick. He's kind of shifty. Like you said, he's got that shot that keeps you off balance. It's kind of, some of the best goal scorers in the league right now. It's not that they have the hardest shot or the best time shot or the most accurate shot. It's the shot that you're not expecting and the angles that they take them from. So yeah, I thought he did really, really well. And I think Montreal would be crazy not to let him at least play out the string here in the regular season. And we'll see what happens when the playoff rolls around. But let's go back to last night's hero. Toffoli is red hot right now. He's scored in 4 straight games, and he's getting it done on special teams with 5 power play goals and 2 shorthanded on the season. Vancouver's decision not to re-sign him looks worse by the day. So to me, it's at the point that I think he's been Montreal's best forward this season. Where would you have him ranked among that forward core for his importance to this team's success?
As of right now, I have to agree with you. I think he's the most important player, and that's the big reason why Montreal brought him to Montreal and signed him for 4 years, $17 million. He's got 25 goals, 36 points on the season, and that's exactly what they needed. They needed a big, strong goal scorer who could take over games and, make those game-defining plays like you mentioned with that game winner last night and how great he's been on the power play for them. But again, I think when Gallagher and Carey Price come back, those are your most 2 important players on the Montreal Canadiens. What Gallagher does, working in the corners, making people just hate him on the ice when he goes hard to the front of the net. Carey Price being one of the best goalies still, in my opinion. I think those 2 guys are the most important for the Montreal Canadiens when they come back from injury and going into the postseason. But right now, Toffoli's your star. He's your most important player, and he's getting the job done for the Montreal Canadiens right now.
I think what's scary for Montreal's first round opponent, who's likely going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs, is Toffoli is so streaky. Every time you think he's going to cool down, he'll have those 2, 3, 4 game streaks where he puts up, 5, 6, 7 points and just lights it up. And I think that if he can get hot for a playoff series or 2, this Montreal team could be really, really dangerous. But let's move now to a former Canadiens legend, Patrick Roy, after stepping down from his position as head coach and vice president of hockey operations with the Avalanche in 2016, citing a lack of input in personnel decisions. Roy now hired a new agent, Neil Glasberg, and is reportedly seeking a return to the NHL. Glasberg told Sportsnet Roy is open to anything from president of hockey ops, general manager, head coach, or another front office role. Now, the Canadiens, Coyotes, Sabres, Blue Jackets, Red Wings, and Canucks do not have a head coach under contract next season. And of course, many front offices could be reshuffled this offseason. Do you see any fit with any of these teams or potentially another franchise And what role do you think Waugh is best suited for?
I would love to see Patrick Waugh make a return to the NHL and as a head coach behind the bench. Of course, if he were to be a head coach, I would like for him to get some say in some personnel decisions on who joins the team and contract-wise, perhaps. But I thought he did a great job with the Avalanche for the 3 years that he was there for behind the bench. As of right now, I think Buffalo needs him the most. Obviously, with what is still going on there, I think he would make the biggest impact for a team that lacks a lot of durability, as well as just someone being able to tell them what to do and accountability for what's going on in the organization. But I don't think he'll want to go to Buffalo just because of I don't think he'll want to go to Buffalo just and sit there through the atrocity that is the Buffalo Sabres. So I don't think he'll want to go there. I am looking towards the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings. I think if he were to go back to the Montreal Canadiens with all the history that he has there as a player and one of the legends that you mentioned he was for the Montreal Canadiens, I think he'd do a great job behind the bench for the Canadiens if he were to sign there next year. But I think if Stevie Yzerman were to land Patrick Waugh behind the bench for this young, exciting Detroit Red Wings team, I think that could be deadly, and the Detroit Red Wings could make a big turnaround in the next few years if they were to sign Waugh as a head coach.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that he's considering another coaching role because, like you said, he was great in Colorado. He did win the Jack Adams in his first season there. He's continued coaching in Quebec since his NHL exit. But the last time he left, he wanted more control over personnel. And in the NHL, that just rarely happens. Coaches do not have that kind of power in organizations very much. So that's why Buffalo, to me, is an interesting fit. Now, it would be a huge swing for him to go to a team that's that bad, but they do have some talented players there. And I think that they could offer him basically any position that he wants. You know, how much say do you want in drafting, in free agency, in coaching, picking your staff? I think that that would be such an amazing fit if they could somehow lure him there. But no matter where he ends up, I think the league is better with Patrick Waugh in it. He's such a great personality, and I hope we get to see him behind a bench next season. But I think if anything, he's going to take on a dual role similar to the last time in Colorado, and hopefully he doesn't get stuck behind a great GM like Joe Sakic, who's not willing to give up some of that personnel control. But that's going to do it for today's episode. On behalf of Steel Roden, I'm David Crosby, and thanks for tuning in to NHL Quick Hits.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.